All right, this is like the third time I'm recording this. So, hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's just the intro. I've been messing it up every single time. I don't know why I get self-conscious about the intro, but it is what it is, guys. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great week. Let's start this week off strong. Hope you guys have been practicing that self-care, which I implore you guys to do every single week, every single time. But anyway, this is, I believe, episode 8 of the director's cut or episode 14 and 15 of the regular show. Uh, Previous, episode was really strong. I think that's one of the strongest ones of the season so far. And it was just a lot. It was a lot to go ahead and like take in and handle. And, for the first time in a while, I think in ReZero, because like, for some aspects, like I've been able to call out like, oh, this is what I think is gonna happen. Like it actually took me back and like I was feeling anxious, not because it was cringy, but because of the realism towards a situation like that was happening. Anyway, please feel free to like, subscribe, hit that like button, and share the video, guys. This is how we grow a community, and this is how we're able to reach like fans of other like anime. Because who knows, I might be doing your anime or your video game next. Follow us on Discord, drop your video ideas. Honestly, that's probably the best way to communicate. For those of you that are on Discord, hi, thanks for reaching out. Thanks for like linking me to like all these awesome like video ideas and stuff. So we'll go with that. So thank you guys so much. Ooh, okay. Yeah, no, take out that anger, that frustration. Honestly, like, damn. The day after is the worst, and I'm sure you guys can relate to that. After you say some stupid shit, like, let's be real. Sometimes we let out all our anger, our frustration, especially when we don't know how to communicate our feelings correctly. And like, fight or flight. That's a perfect example of that. And sorry if I'm like looking away and stuff. It's like I'm handling 1,000 other things plus like work and everything. So just trust me on this one. Like, I think it's a totally rational response, that like he fight or flight happened. He's like, oh crap, how can I maintain the stability that I've had? Um, and I'll try and put up Maslow's like hierarchy of needs somewhere over here, just so that you guys have a good picture of it. And once we're not meeting any one of these needs, our automatic belief system changes. And this is where we get hit into the situation. So when people, I've seen some comments where people are like, oh, it's just like not cringy, but it's like it's unrealistic, blah, 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 blah. Trust me, as someone that works in the mental health field as a professional, as a psychologist, it is not. I've seen this time and time again. And this is why it raises up my anxiety because, in situations like that, you have to try and find out like where they're going with this, how they're going to respond. And always the day after is sort of the worst, the couple of days following that, because you're rewinding that situation in your head and you're going through all the scenarios like, I could have said this, I could have done that, I could have, reworded this differently, I could have tried this, could have tried that. And you're also cringing at yourself at the fact that you didn't handle that situation the best way possible. Anyway, oh, so I was right. No, dude, you did that to save him. Hmm. Okay, you guys can feel free to correct me in the comments, but like, there's two big things to dissect for that just hit me really, really huge, which is number one, the whole like him coming to apologize. Like, first off, that's sort of a big insult. Not an insult, but like, I know he's doing it like straight out of his heart because like he truly does care about them. You can get attached to someone, still care about them, and still have these boundaries placed, right? On the other hand, though, like it's just about respecting one another, and I feel like Subaru is gonna take this the wrong way, and he shouldn't. And the second part is like a Rem and Subaru, right? I felt, I thought like if Rem was true to like the cause of the mansion and Roswell and Ram and all of them, wouldn't she like wouldn't she like not be with Subaru right now? Wouldn't she be with Emilia wherever she is? Because like I know in the previous episode she's like I'm gonna like pay you back like everything I owe you. And she probably laughed, like logically speaking, or she's in town and just a guest. But nonetheless, wouldn't Ren be with her? So with I'm guessing like with her being with Zubedo is also like a big sign of her own resolve towards like, hey, I really like this individual and this individual means a lot to me, so I'm gonna stick with them. Or it might just be like a whole, hey, you can stick with them if you want type of thing. So because I don't see uh Emilia being mean about it, you know? Oh. Oh, here's gonna come one of the hardest parts. Oh, my heart. Like, so the reason why I say here comes one of the hardest parts is because once you start like a spiral of negative self-talk, especially after a situation like that, you can really put yourself like, and I'm sure that we've all experienced something like that when we're either in that situation or with a friend or a loved one or just someone in general that we know and care about, where one bad thing happens, then the negative self-talk schema breakdown starts happening, and next thing you know they're in a dark hole. And it's a scary situation to be in. And I guess I'll go ahead and just throw up like a the national crisis hotline for suicide prevention in this episode as well, because it's not like it's going to be a heavy topics I guess that I'm going to talk about in situations like this. When people start spiraling down a hole, sometimes, and this is going to sound rough, and it's appropriate to go ahead and talk with your friends, with your loved ones, psychologists, a therapist, and find out like what are some of the crisis plans that work best for you and how to develop them, right? Because some people love it when others come in and build them up. Others want a little bit of silence and check-ins periodically. So it's perfectly okay to build up a crisis plan and talk with the professional, talk with friends, have your natural supports there, because negative self-talk and whatever, and speaking from experience, I'll open up about this and I won't share too much about it, but I'll just say, speaking from experience, negative self-talk can take you into a lot of different directions and some scary places on a personal journey and like as an individual overall, because it can make you literally burn all the bridges that you have built with friends, loved ones, or whatever, because at the end of the day you're trying to like center into your core as to who you are as an individual, while at the same time, like, I don't know how to say it. Like, you're healing by burning everything around you to try and see that you're not hurt, but you are hurting. You're hurting everyone and everything around you. So, you know, feel free to reach out, guys. And as I said, like, try and develop a crisis plan. And if not, like, feel free if you're ever down in the dumps and like, best way to put it, in a dark hole, and where sometimes it gets harder and harder to wake up every day, reach out to friends, reach out to family. I assure you that no one's going to try and turn you away. And if they do, you can always reach out to any one of us. Discord's super friendly. And while, I don't think there's another psychologist on there, you'll at least have natural supports and friends there that will help you out as well. So, yeah, you'll literally need to change the people's like perspective in order to get her to win. So in a situation like this, I think there's a point, right? Which is you either have to change people's perspectives to win, and in order to do that, right, you either have to be her greatest friend or her greatest enemy. Simply because if you turn out to be the greatest enemy that like people have faced or seen in a while, people will literally rally up with you to take down the enemy, and like the prejudices that people hold will be more focused towards that one individual, that one ideology, that one person that is holding the power, right? And this is another like power play. And if you guys are interested, it's like there's like psychology of the oppressed or theater of the oppressed, if you guys are interested in anything like that, where it's not just like, by the way, when I say theater of the oppressed, I'm not just talking about the theatrical versions of like oppression, which it is included in this. I'm talking about like the presentation in which individuals of power inside of nations overall can go ahead and start using different power plays in order to go ahead and maneuver individuals to rise up against him, use certain maneuvers, and it's a tactic in psychology as well, which is why like certain experiments like the Stanford prison experiment and so on and so forth, like you start erasing certain boundaries, like people acting as like the guards, so all of a sudden start acting more violent, so on and so forth, right? Like there's either a common good, so like you keep taking down, say, big threats towards the kingdom, and in the process building up her name, or you become the literal bad person and she takes you down. And that is the two ways to go about it, if I'm being realistic. Otherwise, right, uh, it's going to be a slow and tedious process. Yeah, the other way is like a naturalistic rhythmic turn, but like nonetheless, you still have to make step by step progress in order to improve. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know, guys, and I'll go over it anyway. What is she gaining out of this? I think in a situation like this, right? And before we even get started into whatever she's got to say or whatever they're going to talk about, even being a guest in another candidate's house, you have to think about like how much information you're giving away, uh, the appropriate attitudes to certain things, the appropriate customs to drinking, so on and so forth, right? Because if you're going into this with the mentality of like, oh yeah, you know what, I can just spill the beans, I can do this, I can do that, people can literally take an advantage or just completely deny any will or any act that you put up because of the fact that like you know it's like especially with like other people in positions of power, if you don't have a set standard in which you're approaching a situation, especially like giving out information for exchange, right? Like, you know what, I'll give you information in exchange for safe passageway to this or for this, right? Then you're already negotiating underhand, and also you're literally in their like domain at the moment, so you're already in a position that you're not negotiating in a stable like manner, right? You're in a power under situation. So I wonder where this is gonna go. mm, mm. I gotta be honest, in a way she scares me, right? Not really scares me, but like intrigues me is the better word. She intrigues me as a character because I feel as though like when talking with her, it's like she can just like the way that she's phrasing certain things is the way that like not a therapist, but like someone that can dig information, the truth out of information does it. So it's very like it's very pointed in that direction, right? So I just wonder if he understands the position that he's in at the moment. That's my overall thoughts about this whole process. Mm, literally adopting a toxic mentality there. Again, you don't have a lot of information to go base yourself off of. You just know like the surrounding areas in high alert, and he's rushing into it thinking he can control whatever situation's happening. That's dangerous. Talk about a dangerous game. No. Yeah. Literally, literally the framing of like the mind and how it changes, right? And especially when you're already having this like negative self-talk, you're thinking, what could I change? What could I do? What could I establish? So on and so forth. Like anything can push you into doing something stupid, right? Because like right off the bat, even though that came off sort of like a warning sign, at the same time, it's because like the whole like if you leave this mansion or like if you leave my care, you'll become my enemy. That's always been true. That's been true since like you found out that they were in like the race together. And while they're being courteous enough, right? You can also take that as a sign of care because and nobody else. If like I was actually someone's enemy, I'm not gonna tell them you're gonna be my enemy the moment you step out of that door. No, I'd be like, cool, like I just healed you the moment they stepped out. Bam, there we go, done. Right? Like it was very curious of her to go ahead and like announce herself that way. And another critical piece of information we just learned right off of that, aside from me coughing a lot, is that she like the formation of contracts, right? And if I was him, this is something I'd start investigating: is how much, like, what would it take to go ahead and reform that contract to a different scenario, right? Where it's like, forming an alliance or trying to get, like, like how much would it take to keep, like, myself under your protection or something along the lines. Ooh, yeah. It's that flipping of the mentality. That's exactly what I've been stating. It's like he's building this schema where it's like, I have to be there. It's my anxious attachment that's popping up that says I need to be there for this individual. Oh, where's this going? Okay. Yeah. Let me, what? Just, oh, that's sort of where I was leaning towards questioning. It's like, he's so one track minded that he's not seeing the great amount of affection and love that Ren's been throwing his way. And I genuinely wonder at this point in time, like, how would how would she react if he all of a sudden was like, hey, you know what? Like, yeah, like shit's going down at the mansion, but like, why don't we just build something for ourselves, Because clearly, like, she's affectionate with you, she cares about you, so on and so forth. I mean, she's putting all her faith in you, so I'm just wondering, like, how that relationship would work out if there could be such a relationship like that. Oh, my heart. Oh no. She just like ghost him. Quite literally, like I think that is probably one of the worst moves you could have done to someone in a situation like that. Like I know that you're probably worried about whatever's happening, right? But if you see someone with like a negative schema and like this like negative self-talk and everything that's going downhill, and you decide to literally like the only point of like conversation, for example, stability that this individual has, and you just pluck yourself out this individual will crumble. There's like the anxiety of people's at like at an 8 before, it's not going to be at a 12 out of 10. Like it's going to go up the roof. And this is where like a lot of people begin to break, sadly. Oh, okay. What? Why did they all bow their heads? What? I think were they in what was it? Memory Snow Memory, the OVA? Were they like in the last shot of that? Still, why did they bow their head? Ugh, I was legit creeped out because I was way too close to the monitor there. Oh, it's already day. Wow. Um, are you just not gonna acknowledge any of that? Dude, I'm sure it's too much to take in, but like, oh God. Oh, bro, I'm sorry. I think she might be a goner too. What the fuck? What did I just watch? I guess every episode of ReZero, right? I'm trying to put my thoughts back together. It goes like from one way completely to the other direction, right? So like in episode what is it, like 13, I guess? It's the one that we saw previously, right? I was expecting a little bit more action to go into it, aside from him just getting like a brutal beatdown and all of that, right? And this one I expected, oh, you know what, it's probably just gonna stay tame as well. And quite literally, I am just my mind's going blank because of this ending. I don't have anything to say. Just wow, that's a lot. Think about what it's like losing someone like that and knowing the fact that you like couldn't do anything. The only thing he can do, and like this is me thinking logically now, like after witnessing this, it's like collect the information. What, where, when, why, how, right? Because clearly you can already tell that something's going down. What is it? I don't know, guys. But anyway, hope you guys liked the video. I know there's been like a lot of different chatter, a lot of different points that were being hit. And I guess I'll just quickly go over Maslow's hierarchy of needs, especially if it's here. So here, I'll take this down so that way I can quickly talk about it while you're here. I'll even pull it up on my laptop while I computer while I show you guys a picture on screen. Give me one. I'm trying to actually find. There we go. This is actually a really good one. So I'll put up this picture right here, somewhere around here. Anyway, so as you guys can tell, it literally goes from like the biological safety, love, belonging, esteem, and self-actualization, right? So if we're gonna go through with this, right, and self-actualization almost, it's really hard like to get there, but once we get there, just because it's a triangle doesn't mean we have to go step by step. It can be fluid, which means like, one day you are you meet all the aspects and you're actually at a point where you're processing information and you're self-actualizing, which happens a lot, right? Where life is going great, then the next day, oh crap, we forgot to pay this, we forgot like to make contact, so on and so forth, right? So let's talk about this in the form of Subota, right? Does he have food, sleep, and water? I'm guessing at the moment, yeah, he's getting enough food, right? Or like he might be getting enough food because he's staying at the guest place. Is he sleeping correctly? That I don't know about. All right. Just because you're getting healed or doesn't mean that your mind isn't racing 1,000 miles per hour trying to like connect that. Uh, and he's getting water. I'm sure he's getting water. Again, guest house. So I think one of those three needs might not be met altogether in just a physiological sense, which is just like getting enough sleep. Does he have a place to sleep? Yes. So we can just go ahead and just, I'll check mark that very basic thing. So we'll give the very bottom one a check mark for now. Security, health, and finances. Does he have any form of security right now because of like, or would you think that he has enough security right now because of Emilia's decisions? Personally, I would not agree with this one only because at the moment, like health and finances, he's getting his health like repaired, the gate or whatever, right? Security wise, he literally just cut ties with Emilia, or she cut ties with him. So that's all in shambles right there. And if we go one step up, love, belonging, friendship, intimacy, family connections, what's happening? Because he no longer has that security of that like health and finances, can he really focus on making these friendships, these intimate relationships, these family connections? I don't think so. I think at the moment, like all of that's gone. And even worse, like if we're going to put it into another sense, the respect, like the esteem, which is respect, status, recognition, strength, and self-esteem, everything that like sort of Julius and uh Reinhard and Felice were like talking about, he can't even think about that at the moment if he has no security. If he has no basic security in knowing what he needs in order to like have that health, have those finances secured, have that security. So even if it's a self-security basis, right? Because like sometimes for him, that security comes from his own decisions and having control over that. If he has that control over his own decisions and he actually feels comfortable going with those decisions, you can say, you know what, he's now able to make friendships and he's now able to like, maybe he might be able to repair the bridge with like between him and Julius. Cool, that would be really interesting to see. He might be able to go ahead and like build a, I don't know, like start making strides in order to like get people chosen for the royal selection. Cool. This is called like making those appropriate connections. But again, if we can't reach that safety baseline, it's going to be really hard for him to go all the way up. And self-actualization is actually him meeting his full potential. And as I'm sure, as like we've seen it before, like it's fluid. So it doesn't just mean like, oh, just because you don't have one doesn't mean you can't go up. Sometimes you can lack security and you can have start making friendships and all of that. Are they the most secure friendships? Probably not, but you can go ahead and like intermingle them in between. This is just a baseline as to how to think when it comes to an individual as a person, right? You know, if you really think that a person's going to be processing 1,000 miles per hour while they don't have the basic needs like sleeping, eating, and all of that. I hope that makes sense. I hope that works. And anyway, I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a great day. And oh, I just hit the microphone. I hope you guys have a great day. Practice some self care. And yeah, just like, comment, subscribe, join our Discord, and join Twitch. All right, guys. Bye.